What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping in. Now, here today we're talking about a different vehicle. Oftentimes people will ask, just because we're in the Nissan Infiniti world, what my opinion is on other Nissan Infiniti platforms. Today I want to talk about the QX80, and I want to talk about the QX80 in particular because it is a vehicle that my wife is very interested in and has been for a long time. Another is the QX50 and the other SUVs in the Infiniti lineup, but this one in particular, again, the QX80 is one that has piqued my interest quite a bit just because of the people asking questions. The engine also is one thing that draws my attention, and of course my wife's interest in them. So what do I think about let's say the 2022 Infiniti QX80? The Infiniti website itself calls it larger than life.
Indeed it is.
The QX80 is big, sleek, stylish. It has beautiful lines. It has a nice stance. Those really nice 22-inch wheels are some of the better looking SUV wheels, in my opinion, out there. They call it a handcrafted interior, but I really like the stitching, the different patterns and the textures in that stitched leather interior. Of course, the Infiniti QX80 comes with the sort of typical two-tone Infiniti interior. I don't mind the black dash components. I would go with a darker interior color as well, but they do have some tan, dust, and graphite, a bunch of other interior options. All of them are nice, but again, I lean toward the black. There are some fancy bells and whistles on the interior. I'm surprised that they only have a moonroof and not a large glass panel roof like other SUVs in the class do. You know, I'm not a big fan of the large screen just plopped on top of the dash. It has an Infiniti Q50 shift knob. The center console, steering wheel, and dash itself are just all underwhelming for a vehicle of this style, this level of elegance and prestige, I guess you could say. It seems a little underwhelming to me on the interior in terms of the electronics and the control panels. Again, though, the overall styling of the interior is really nice. I do like it overall. It's third row seating with screens, monitors on the headrests of the front seats, which is pretty cool. There are a bunch of different trim levels for this vehicle, which is really crazy to me. It kind of makes things a little bit more complicated. When you go through some of the options, when you build your own, which I'll do here in a minute, it's surprising some of the things that are included in there, because a lot of those things I would have no interest in. I would even choose to take them off had they been on there. I'll talk a little bit more about it, but you get some door moldings. I would never get those. Chrome mirror caps. I would never get those. Some other things that I wouldn't have any interest in that add a lot of money to the overall price tag if you do go that route. Talk a little bit about performance. The vehicle is big and heavy, like I said. The 2022 Infiniti QX80 tips the scales at right around 6,000 pounds. Some trims are right at 6,000, some are slightly under 5,700 or so, but right at that 6,000 pound point. That is about 15 pounds per horsepower. If you're a math genius, you may have already done the calculations and realized that is 400 horsepower. The 5.6 liter V8 produces about 400 horsepower and right around 400, just slightly over 400 foot-pounds of torque. Now, that is one benefit to that 5.6 V8. It does make a little bit of torque, and you're going to appreciate that accelerating from a stop and also pulling trailers and things of that nature. I believe they say the QX80 will do 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds. It's a little bit slow, 6.5 to 6.8, something like that. My wife's Explorer, for example, makes just shy of 400 horsepower all-wheel drive. It is a 3.5 liter, 6-cylinder twin turbo engine. I got it to do, without even trying, 0 to 60 in 5.8 seconds. I think that's closer to 5,500 pounds. So I gotta say, for a big old boxy V8, it's not meant to be fast by any means. You know, 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds, it's not fast, but it's not really a slouch considering what the thing is. But you gotta love that torque, 400 and something, maybe it's even 415 foot-pounds of torque. I'd have to look it up again, but you know, that's pretty nice. That's gonna feel really good. I can believe that. And also, the 5.6, the Nissan's V8 sounds so good. If I were to pick one of these up for my wife, I doubt she'd let me touch it. It does have a 7-year warranty, so it's a little difficult to justify making any modifications to the thing. It doesn't really need them, though. And obviously, being a naturally aspirated V8, there's only going to be a limited amount of things that you could potentially do to it. I don't know what the aftermarket is for the QX80. I can't imagine it's very good. I don't know if there are any parts that are interchangeable with the older V8s that Nissan and Infiniti produced. But nonetheless, I think there's plenty of power and plenty of torque on tap. And it's a decent looking vehicle. does have a 7-speed automatic transmission, so I can only imagine, I don't know the details, but I can only imagine it's very similar, if not the same transmission used in the Q50s and 60s. Let's go ahead and build one of these though and take a look at what it would cost to get it outfitted exactly how we'd like it. Here we go. Let's make it your own. So as you can see here, there are several different trim levels, including all-wheel drive and two-wheel drive. I was originally just going to choose the Premium Select, which kept the price down a little bit, but I do want the sensory package just because that's the one that comes with the interesting climate control stuff. I guess we'll start out by selecting a color. There's a wide range of colors available here, but of course we got to go with Obsidian Black. No other color should exist, really. With the black, though, it looks like there's only a few interior options available. We'll talk more about that. But these are some of the options that I just don't even care about, like the trim pieces here for the door, the gold or the chrome mirror caps I couldn't care less about, and then even the paint protection is just for the edges of the door. So normally I wouldn't even check that, but let's just go ahead just to see what we can get out of it. Some other little bits and pieces that you can select here, some like little lighting packages for like the ground effects, floodlights, the cargo area lighting. I'd like that. We'll just go ahead and add the lights just to see what the price does for us. And they're cool little touches, of course. Go to the interior again. With the Obsidian Black, you only get a couple of interior options. Right here they are. They're all very dark, which is no problem with me. I'm going to go with the black, the graphite black. That looks sick. That's clean as hell right there. You can see that interior is pretty sharp, but that Q50 shift knob and that really boring-ass F-150 steering wheel is kind of weird. But there's a couple other things that you can choose from. I don't know if you want a $50 storage tote or, sort of that protective panel for the back end. That could be beneficial. So we'll go ahead and select that. But a lot of this stuff I really, really couldn't care less about. I think it's... Oh, no, we'll take a look at the lighting. I think that already came with the door sill lights, like the entry lights. Those are pretty cool. I do like that look on the Explorer and the Q50s as well. But I think that's about it. Should wrap it up. Yep, you're almost done. Here's a look at it. You see that massive grille. I don't even mind the chrome on this. With those body lines, they're really slick. That's a pretty stout vehicle. Nice wheels. I am not giving you any of my personal information. I don't want phone calls every single day, but here it is. Oh my gosh, $88,664. $88,000. It's wild. Gives us some of the little technical specifications, which we've already talked about. But it's almost hard for me to fathom. I know this is sort of the luxury end. Supposed to be a big luxury vehicle, but almost $90,000 for a QX80. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments below. Almost $89,000, and that's not even with every option. That's steep. That's steep, boys. The question then still remains: would I ever purchase an Infiniti QX80? Well, like I said, my wife loves them, but it's really difficult. $88,000 for a vehicle that's not even completely outfitted. My tendency is to always compare a vehicle that I'm considering to a vehicle that I've already owned or driven. So I just have to compare it to my wife's Ford Explorer. My wife's Explorer Sport is the 2019. We got it when it was just shy of 2 years old, I think, and it only had like 19,000 miles on it or something. That thing is completely decked out. Every single option loaded as loaded can be. It's got that dual pane moonroof that goes all, damn near all the way back to the third row. Heated and cooled front and rear seats. It's got the lighting package. It's got the protective seat belts in the rear that blow up like an airbag. Jesus, man. Lane departure, parking assist, tow package, lighting package. Did I already say that? I mean, it's got literally everything. And I think you can get those new, even the new Explorers, the 22s, maybe 60,000, maybe a touch over, I'm not sure. And it's actually got real leather, real nice leather. The Explorer is, again, third row. It's quite a bit lighter, something like 500 or 600 pounds lighter. It's got the twin turbo 3.5 liter 6-cylinder, which makes something like 365 horsepower, just shy of 400 foot-pounds of torque. The towing capacity is a little bit less at 5,500 pounds. It does have a 5-speed automatic six-speed automatic transmission, I think. But without even trying, I got that thing 0 to 60 in like 5.8 seconds. So I know it's much quicker than the QX80. Yeah, I really like the styling of the Explorer Sport. I think it's a good looking vehicle. So it's really tough to justify $88,000 for a vehicle that, you know, kind of beats it in a lot of areas that is $30,000 less. It has much more potential when it comes to tunability and modifications. It has more aftermarket support, although aftermarket support is still pretty low. It has more than the QX80 has. And to me, it'd be really hard to justify that on that alone. But then you compare it to other vehicles in the class. There's people that'll argue that the QX80 is just an Armada with leather interior, which they're not wrong. There really aren't a lot of big SUVs out there that do compete with it, though. I guess you could say, you know, you might be tempted to go to the Audi lineup, the Q7s and BMWs with the X5s and X6s, but those really aren't on the same, I don't want to say same class or the same level. They're just not the same size. It's just a different vehicle. Really, sort of the only ones in this realm are maybe the Explorer and the Tahoe, the Suburban, I guess you could say. What does Toyota have? Like the I don't even know what's above the 4Runner these days. And I guess you could argue too that the Explorer and the Tahoe, they're not sort of on that luxury line. You know, they're just more of a big SUV. The Sport ST, the Explorer ST, you could say, is more of a performance-driven platform. So, you know, it's kind of by itself. The QX80 is sort of by itself. But would I purchase one? Not brand new, I can say that. It'd be hard for me to justify dropping $81,000 on a vehicle like that, knowing what we've gotten out of the Explorer Sport. The Explorer is a great vehicle. I've been really happy with it up to this point, and it's been a lot of fun. So, to my point now, I wouldn't buy a new QX80. My wife really wants one. I do like them. They look great. The interior looks awesome. I'd love to drive one a little bit just to see how big they actually feel. But that's my wife's preference. She wants a big, stable vehicle to make her feel safe and secure on the interstate with all these crazy drivers in South Carolina. But 81 grand. I could see, you know, if it was down around that 50 point, but 80, ouch. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about the QX80, or if there's any other Nissan Infiniti vehicles that you'd be interested in, whether or not I'd purchase, or any vehicle for that matter. I always like to give my input, you know, unsolicited input on vehicles that I would like. So let me know in the comments below what you might have interest in or what you might be shopping. I'd love to give my 2 cents for you. Thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate the continued support. A little bit different video for you today, but back to the regularly scheduled content coming up this weekend. So thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. See you in the next one.